The time has finally come. It's time to build up to the World Test Championship final between India and Australia. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Cricket Corner podcast with me, Vatsal Vora. Today, we have loads to cover from both teams' forms, India's dilemma over picking Ishan Kishan or Shikhar Bharat, the return of Ajinkya Rahane at number 5, team composition, and to wrap things up, we have the predictions for the upcoming finale. I use the word we here quite a lot of time because today I am joined by three of my friends and cricket experts who breathe the game just like I do. Let me introduce you to Dwij Vaishnav.
Hi, Vatsal. Pleasure to be
Hi.
here.
Nice to have you, man. Yash Purohit.
Hi Vatsal, thank you for inviting me.
No worries, no worries. And Nachiket Acharya.
Hi Vatsal, thanks a lot for inviting us over.
No worries, man. Nachiket, let's start with you because you are a Chennai Super Kings fans, which unfortunately for us, three of us, we aren't. And you guys just recently won the IPL. But my question is that do you think Indian team or some of the Indian players would come into the World Test Championship final underprepared because of playing T20 cricket for about 2 months, or do you think these players are professional enough and they don't need any such any special practice in general?
Well, this is a great point that you are making. I feel that if you talk about the form, there's been questions that whether they can carry the same form. I do not think that would be the case most of the times. But I would definitely say that for someone like Rahane, who had been out of the team for almost 1.5, 2 years, he'll have the confidence behind him. So that might help him improve in the red ball cricket. He has been making big runs overseas for India, but he
Yes.
had a shaky last 2 or 3 years. So let's say someone like a Rahane who has scored almost 400 runs for CSK in the IPL, playing a crucial knock in the finals of the IPL and also winning it. So he could carry the confidence in there, and that might help him flourish in the game. And
Yeah.
coming to the other point, whether there's a difference between everyone knows red ball and white ball. And we
Yeah.
had heard that Rohit Sharma was, practicing every alternate day with red ball cricket even during the IPL season. So these players do have at their back of the mind that what is coming next. So they are already prepared for that. It might take some 1 or 2 days to get used to the conditions or red ball cricket also. So they are practicing well since the last 1 or 2 weeks, and I think that being in the international level, they should be able to adjust and cope up with the difference that is on offer over here.
Yeah. Those are some good points. And once again, I want to talk about the professionalism of cricketers in general. And Yash, coming to you, do you think a 1 or 2 week break is sufficient enough for people to switch off from their IPL mindset and tune into their test match mindset in a way? Do you think it is coming way too early, or do you think these players are good enough that they can get used to these conditions and a new format altogether in just a couple of weeks? Because let's be honest, there have been quite a lot of Indian players in the IPL compared to Australian ones. So do you think that's advantage Australia? Do you think it doesn't matter in the end?
I think they all being professional athletes and like how they play very much all around the year, so it shouldn't be an issue to adjust to the weather and conditions of a country. But I would still think that I prefer 2 to 3 weeks of break would get them into the perfect mindset because I think that it's no joke. Um, like we had a really bad patch against New Zealand, and like though we had a good match with Australia in the Gamba series, but I think a break of at least 2 to 3 weeks would get each and every cricketer in the right state of mind. Because
Yeah.
after IPL, a sudden what some of the players have been barely there for 4 to 5 days, so it might take some time to adjust to the conditions. But given the fact that we have a pretty tight calendar before the World Cup as well, they should have been given at least 2 to 3 weeks of prep time, so they could get uh, you know get good at what they prefer. And
Yeah.
Australia have a very good edge on that because like most of the players they have skipped IPL and they have been in England pretty much from I think mid March.
Yeah,
So that would be a tough one to take. But let's see.
that
Like I trust Rohit Sharma's army, and
yeah.
pretty much all of the players are in very good form. Especially like to name to Gill, Kohli, Rahane, and Jadeja. We have
Yes.
a decent pace bowling attack as well.
Mhm.
So let's see what happens.
Yeah. Yash made a very interesting point there, stating that a few Australian players have already been in England for a good couple of months. We have Steve Smith, who has been playing for Sussex. Manas Labuschagne has been playing for Glamorgan. Yes, Cheteshwar Pujara himself has been performing quite well for Sussex. But my question to you, Dwij, is India's test form coming into this World Test Championship final in general. Like, we haven't had test matches for some time now due to the IPL. But right before the IPL, we had the Border Gavaskar Trophy, which Yash mentioned briefly as well. Do you think confidence of beating Australia in this year will be something that will be in our favor?
Yeah, definitely. I think the Border Gavaskar Trophy will set a benchmark for all these Indian players, and I think it will also have, sort of a psychological fear it would have instilled in the Australian players'
Yes.
minds because they exactly know how strong this Indian squad is, despite of having major key players like Shreyas Iyer and Jasprit Bumrah missing. But still, we have enough backups from the great Ranji sides, which and the domestic season which India is producing. Day by day. So I think that shouldn't be a problem, and I think it will be advantage India because of the fact that we bat right till number 10, number 11. So in
Yes,
the
yes.
batting department, I don't think there's going to be any issue because players like Mohammad Siraj, Mohammad Shami, I think they are trained well enough to last for 50, 60 deliveries and score some quick fire 30, 40 runs at the tail.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I think this Border Gavaskar Trophy series win would obviously be in favor of India, and also, we have champion players all throughout our 11. I mean, majority of them are in the ICC top 10 in various departments, so that
Mhm.
speaks for itself.
Like, staying with you, Dwij, because I know for a fact that you have been a big advocate for Ajinkya Rahane, and I am quite certain that you were the ones who was quite happy to see him return into the Test team. So I wanted to know your thoughts on his return to this World Test Championship final squad because critics have been saying that he's picked solely based on his IPL form and Test playing test matches is a completely different ball game altogether. But what are your thoughts on Rahane being picked? Do you think it is the right call and does he deserve the same?
Oh, well, I absolutely love Ajinkya Rahane, as you correctly
Yeah.
stated, and his record in Test cricket speaks for itself. I don't need to advocate anything further for him, but yes, he ran through a couple of years of bad form, and that is why he was dropped from the Test side. But the class player that he is and the fate that MS showed in the CSK side, despite him not being a known T20 player, he could deliver right only through sheer class and timing. So those
Yeah.
two traits, are fundamental in Test cricket as well. Plus, Jinx has always performed when India needed him the most, be it in the Australia series, be it in the England series the year before. So he's a player of big occasions, and I think seeing the injuries that India had in the middle order, picking Ajinkya Rahane, even if he did not perform as exceedingly well for CSK, was a no-brainer. So yes, I'm definitely very happy that he again is back in the side, and not only that, he'll also provide a crucial year to Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli for leading the side if we are in any tough situations.
That's some really good points made. Do you want to add anything to that, Nachiket? Do you feel like what are your thoughts basically on the selection of Ajinkya Rahane?
Well, first of all, he has not been the first choice to come back into this. The
All
first
right.
choice would have been Shreyas Iyer. Of course, he
Yeah.
is injured. India also tried around Surya Kumar Yadav. That was just for one match, but in whatever limited opportunities that he has got in Tests and ODIs, he hasn't been able to cement his place in those two formats. Next option would be Sarfaraz Khan. He has scored big hundreds in the Ranji Trophy in the domestic season. Also, I guess a couple of triple hundreds. But the thing
Yes.
is that you just cannot, trust on him on just coming into the World Chess Championship finals in a tricky place like England and just, back that responsibility on him. India would have ideally have a plan for him that they could ease him into the test team for
Yes.
at least a season. They should give him some opportunities. And Ajinkya Rahane's inclusion hasn't purely been based on his IPL form, I guess, because he has scored a double hundred in Ranji this season. He has scored 600 to 700 runs, captaining Mumbai. He has looked in good form. He has not scored like Pujara, but he has been in decent form, averaging close to 50 or 60 runs this season. And to top it off, he had also been in superb nick in the IPL. So it is not that the first couple of knocks of 20 ball 60s has instantly got him a place in the Indian team. I guess that the selectors have been wary of his Ranji form too, and I think that he was the only practical choice possible. Seeing all the injuries and other stuff that I just spoken about, he has been one of the best options for this particular match.
Yeah, that I like the way you said that he was the only practical choice for the selectors. And Yash, I wanted to quickly talk about that with you. Do you think with that number 5 slot open and Rahane getting that choice solely because of his IPL form, yes, but also as Nachiket mentioned, he has been playing really well in the Ranji Trophy as well. Do you think that is his place for the taking now? Do you think once Shreyas Iyer is back, or let's say KL Rahul is back, do you think these people will then come up and get his spot once again, or do you think a good performance here would cement his place in this test team for the foreseeable future?
I think for now, Rahane is a very pretty good option, but I would also like to add another name to the list. My
Yes.
man Rishabh Pant is also unfortunately missing the final.
Yeah.
So I would prefer him over the two any times when he comes back, probably like in
Yeah.
this year or the next year. But for now, I think Rahane as a test cricketer, he's pretty much, I think he's better than the two. We saw what he did in Gaba with the vice captaincy and captaincy as well. So
Yeah.
for now, I would not trade him for anybody else, but I would really prefer Rishabh Pant over KL Rahul and Shreyas Iyer in the test ranking, in the test team as well.
Yeah. But I think that's a really good point you made. Which none of us three had mentioned before, that he was a really good, not only a batsman, but also a very good captain when Virat Kohli was absent during that Australian tour. So that's a really big plus, which India have when the likes of Bumrah isn't there. We don't have Shreyas Iyer as mentioned before. So it's really good to have a senior member in a way who can, as already mentioned before, who can like step in shoes of Virat Kohli and even Rohit Sharma to some regards and
Yeah,
give them
and
tips and
yeah,
stuff.
and
Yeah.
like that's what I was adding. Like with Rohit Sharma, I think sometimes he trembles in captainship. You would
Yes.
see he gets panicked up. He starts ignoring the players. He's not there around to cheer them up, lift them up like how we are used to seeing Rahane and Kohli. So I
Yes.
think even this will help us to get that tricky situation because Australia, as you see, in the morning, I saw a photo tweeted by one of the accounts, like how they did a photo shoot of four of the fastest bowlers. And man, I was legit scared seeing that
Yes.
photo. So I think that would be a big boost if we could, keep the wickets going, give some time to the openers, get some good, decent scores on the board.
Yes.
So
Yes.
it will overhelp, like, we got a good depth in the batting as well. So that should help
Yeah.
us with
Uh,
Rahane being around.
yes. I like how you already mentioned we are like barely 15 minutes into the podcast and you're already mentioning that picture which you saw on Twitter, which had Scott Boland, Josh Hazelwood, Pat Cummins, and Mitchell Stark. We are expecting three of them to play. There have been talks stating that Stark and Cummings are a guarantee, and there could be a toss up between either Hazelwood or Scott Boland. Cam Green is obviously there as well, so he is another seamer. Which, coming to you regarding this same question, are you worried about this pace attack which the Australians have brought? Because let's be honest, they didn't have the best of the pace attack when they came here for the Border Gavaskar Trophy. Yes, you can argue that we didn't have seam friendly wickets, so even if they had brought them, they might not have been as threatening as they look like on paper. But English conditions usually aid fast bowlers. Do you think that's a big challenge for us Indian batsmen?
Personally speaking, I don't think it's that big a challenge, and I also don't think that bowlers like Stark and Cummins are right now at their peak form. So I think they have been a bit all over the place since the past 1 to 2 years, and they have not been able to find that right rhythm. I don't think that suddenly out of the blue in one match they'll be able to be as good as they were. They are not.
Yes.
I mean, that would be extremely difficult knowing that they haven't been playing test ball cricket since quite a while now. So I think that, yes, their attack is superb. I think the pace attack is slightly better than India, seeing Jasprit Bumrah is the missing cog in our wheel. But
Yep.
yes, personally speaking, I don't think that they will cause much of a havoc to our Indian batting lineup, because, as I said, we bat deep, and whatever our top order is capable of doing, they are already experienced enough to face the likes of such bowlers, be it in any conditions. And the benchmark that Virat Kohli has set under his captaincy, I mean, I don't think Indian fans or Indian cricketers in general now fear any pace opposition around the globe.
That's very interesting point which Dwij made. And Nachiket, I wanted your opinions on this as well. Dwij mentioned that yes, Stark, Cummins, Hazelwood are really, really good players and one of the best bowling attack on their day. But yes, Cummins has been in and out of the side. He had that unfortunate demise of his mother, which we still condole with him, and I hope he has already returned strong. Mitchell Stark has been in and out with injury. Josh Hazelwood has recently been injured, so his participation is still in doubt. Scott Boland has been in and out of the Australian squad as well. So, do you think it's the pressure is on Australian bowlers to come up all guns blazing from the real get-go, because the World Test Championship for them is more important because they need to prepare for the Ashes as well. So, do you think the pressure is on them instead of being on Indian batsmen?
Well, first of all, I'd answer the question regarding the pace attack that Australia
Yes.
has. Well, they have a world-class pace attack of Stark, Hazelwood, Cummins, and also Boland has chipped in with some crucial contributions. But I think Indians are pretty good coming up against them. We have defeated them twice in their home conditions over there in
Yes.
2018 and also in the 2020-21 series. We have
Mm-hmm.
gone in their backyard and won a test series out of nowhere. They
Yeah.
had pretty much their full strength team both of the times, and we had a second or third string team with us. So
Yes.
yes, of course, they are genuinely world class. They have a genuinely world class attack. But Indians, if they apply themselves to the situation, there's no reason why they cannot, I think, overcome this attack. We've been good in English conditions in the last series too, for test matches. That was
Mm-hmm.
under Virat Kohli's captaincy. We have been good enough over there. We have
Yes.
been good enough against Australia as an opposition. I do not remember the last time that they have won a test series against India. Be it
Hmm.
home conditions or away, we have been winning over there. But there is a threat, like as you guys mentioned earlier too. Indians have been preparing for red ball extensively since the past 2, 3, 4, 5 days, and Australians have been there over since a long time. So
Yeah.
I just think that they might be better suited to the conditions. But these Indian players have played all around the world, and England also is a place where Indians have been played. And I guess the last test match India played at the Oval, we won against England.
Yes,
So
we
we
did.
have yes, we have happy memories over there, and we just need to apply ourselves against this attack. Be patient, and I think that we can come up with a good result in this game. And talking about pressure, pressure is on both the teams. Even Australia,
Mhm.
as you said, are preparing for the Ashes. They will need the momentum
Yeah.
in those conditions to go on against this England side. And India have also been in the finals in the last tournament too, in the World Test Championship, and weren't able to defeat New Zealand. So
Yes.
pressure is on India too, as they haven't delivered something big overseas in the last couple of years. So pressure is on India too. Rohit Sharma also, because he's this is the first proper assignment, that the biggest assignment that he has got
Yeah.
in under his captaincy. So it will be interesting to see that how the things pan out over there.
We have talked about the Australian pace attack for quite a few moments, quite a lot of time now. And one thing is for certain that regardless of them coming in cold, regardless of them having injury and stuff, they are a threat to be reckoned with. And Yash, I wanted to come to you in this point because to face a good enough bowling attack, you need a capable batting unit as well, and something which India has. Don't get me wrong with the inclusion of Rahane as well, but there is this point that you made that we lack the impact of Rishabh Pant in lower middle order. And we have two options coming into this World Test Championship final. We have either Shrikar Bharat, who played all four Test matches in the Border Gavaskar series, or we have picked Ishan Kishan, who could make his debut, his Test debut, that is, in the World Test Championship final on the big stage. I know you have been quite a critic of Ishan Kishan at times. You have been like, I'm sure you like him as a player because he plays for your side, Mumbai Indians, and he can give you quick fire runs. But then you have been quite critical, sometimes stating that he takes unnecessary risk or he plays uh, shots which are irresponsible in nature to some extent. But Ricky Ponting recently said that Ishan Kishan should play in the final because of that X factor, which is something I completely agree with. And but on the other hand, I see why Shikhar Bharat is also a capable batsman. What are your thoughts on this wicket keeping issues? Do you think it's too early and too like it's fast tracking Ishan Kishan at and panicking because we don't have someone like Rishabh Pant, or do you think we should stay with the tried and tested Shikhar Bharat for this game?
I think specifically for this final, this big final, I would stick with Shrikar Bharat. I
Yeah,
think we should not rush Ishan Kishan, because what would happen is, like, God forbid, if he fails, if he's not up to the mark in the
yeah,
batting section, probably, like,
yeah,
we need to rely on middle order as well, correct? And
yes,
if he fails, so I doubt he might be getting any other chances, because as you know, the selectors and the people who watch from their homes, they're very critical about such players, and like
yes,
everybody deserves a second or third chance. If Ishan Kishan unfortunately fails big, and then I don't see him getting any other chances in future. And this is a very big test for us, because we already
yeah.
lost once against New Zealand, and the
Hmm.
momentum that we carry on after this win is what will take us through the World Cup, which is most needed which
Makes
is the
sense.
like most priority for us right now, because in between we have, I think, the only big tournament would be an Asia Cup. Rest all are like small tournaments and small series. So I
Yes,
think India should not take the risk with Ishan Kishan. Let's go with Shikhar Bharat. He was in the test previously. Let's,
yeah.
leave Ishan for a while. He can always have another day, another ODI or test. But for now, Shikhar Bharat would be a better wicket-keeper batsman than Ishan Kishan, in my opinion, because he even didn't have a very, good IPL as well. He was very inconsistent.
Yeah.
So yeah, these are my two thoughts on it.
Dwij, what are your thoughts on Kishan versus Bharat? Because for me, I can see both sides of the argument. I can agree with what Yash said that we should not try and test things in a World Test Championship final after the fact we've already lost one against New Zealand a couple of years ago. But then on the other hand, Ishan Kishan can be someone who plays like Rishabh Pant, who comes down the order and counter attacks the bowling attack, uh, just like how Rishabh Pant has done against James Anderson, against Stuart Broad, against the likes of Australian pacers as well in Australia. So my mind is completely confused and I'm like 50-50 on the fence. But what are your thoughts about this Kishan and Bharat situation?
Yes, I think first of all, Ishan Kishan might be a similar sort of dynamic player like Rishabh Pant, but it is important to keep in mind that he isn't a number six player regularly like Pant is, even for his domestic side. So
Yeah.
Ishan Kishan traditionally is an opener and he's quite used to facing the new ball. I'm not completely sure if he can replicate the same job that he does coming down the order, because even in domestic season he hasn't been regularly featuring in the middle order. So I don't think all of a sudden India should experiment someone completely new in the middle order just because you need someone who is counterproductive. I mean, players like Ravindra Jadeja and Rahane, which is quietly visible, they also can play those crucial counterproductive knocks if the need be.
Yeah.
So there isn't such a need of especially filling in Ishan Kishan for that role. Also, another thing which I think is that it will depend mostly on the combination that India decides to play. So if, for example, India looks to go on with two spinners, then I think KS Bharat will play definitely, because
Yeah.
two spinners means either of Ashwin or Akshar and along with Ravindra Jadeja will play. So I think that will be one more brick in our batting order. So that at that point of time, KS Bharat would be a safe bet. But if we decide to go for an extra pacer, then I think Ishan Kishan might come to the forefront. But personally speaking, I don't think just for that one counterproductive trait, India should go for Ishan Kishan,
Yeah.
because I don't think he's also that good a keeper as KS Bharat is in test matches, because KS Bharat might not be someone like MS Dhoni, but I think he's much more replicates Riddhiman Saha and how solid his wicket keeping is. So yes, for me, anytime KS Bharat should start in this final.
So far we have 2-0 in favor of Shikhar Bharat, KS Bharat. Nachiket, 3-0 or 2-1 in Ishan Kishan's favor?
Would be a bit surprising, but 2-1.
So you
Because,
think Ishan Kishan should play?
I have just developed this thought of mine a couple of weeks ago, because for a
Yeah.
simple reason, KS Bharat ideally should be given his chance over here, seeing that he has just played 4 matches. He should be
Yeah.
given a go, as
Yeah.
no player should be dropped after one series or a couple of bad games.
Makes
But
sense, yes.
what I feel is that this is a one-off and this is a final, and you have seen KS Bharat rose into the arena when he was playing for RCB at number 3 position. He scored some crucial runs in the 2020 IPL season.
Yes, yes.
He was very good over there, and he is the closest you would see to Riddhiman Saha in terms of wicket keeping in the current crop of keepers. But what I would say that he has contributed a quick fire 20 or 30 in the Border Gavaskar Trophy. Looking at India's worries in the top and middle order in test formats particularly, the reliance has been on Ashwin, Akshar and Jadeja to deliver some crucial 100 to 200 runs.
Yes.
So what India wants from a wicket keeper, or in general, if any team wants from a wicket keeper, is that he can score some good 30, 40, 50 consistent runs,
Yeah.
keep well, and just keep the scoreboard flowing or something like that. He's of course not used to bat at number 7. I guess he's also batting up the order for Jharkhand, where he played last. But no wicket keeper that has played for India has batted at number 7 for his domestic team. If you look out the records also, they in domestic cricket they always bat higher up the order, and when it comes to international cricket, they have to adjust based on the combination of the team. Coming back, Ishan Kishan has the experience of playing world-class bowlers, smashing them over the last 6 to 7 years. He has been playing for India for a while now. He has been playing IPL for a while now. He's not that consistent, but I feel that when it comes to crucial runs down the order, I would prefer Ishan Kishan. Ideally, I'm saying again, ideally, Bharat should be given a chance. There's no doubt about that. But I think that he's a brilliant wicket keeper. Out of the two, he's a better wicket keeper. But India also needs their number 7 batsman to score runs. Every time you cannot expect Ashwin, Jadeja, and everyone to
Yeah.
come in with handy contributions from positions where we are in pressure. So for me, I would personally go for Kishan. But again, it would be totally unfair on Bharat because he has earned his place in the team. He has been with the team since the last 1 or 2 years after Saha was dropped. So he
Yeah.
ideally should be given a chance. But again, as this is a one-off, I think Kishan is worth a gamble over here.
That that's a really good point, and I like the fact that both you and Dwij made that point that it has been a recurring thing as far as the Indian Test squad is concerned that we have to heavily rely on the likes of Ashwin Jadeja and Akshar Patel to give us some valuable runs because most of the times, as seen in the Border Gavaskar series as well, that a top order and a middle order have failed to live up to their expectations. We have some good players in there. We have Rohit Sharma, Shubman Gill, we have Cheteshwar Pujara, and of course the star Virat Kohli. But we still have to rely on these two all-rounders in a way to give us runs. But it is the final is happening in England, and some might argue that playing three spinners in Ashwin, Jadeja, and Akshar doesn't make sense when the pitches don't usually aid to spinners as much as in England, particularly as much as it does in India, let's say. So, do you think, and Nachiket, I want to stay with you on this. Do you think we should drop one of Ashwin Jadeja and Akshar Patel? If yes, then would you go for either Shardul Thakur or Umesh Yadav? This is assuming Shami and Siraj are playing in the 11. So, what are your thoughts on this team composition?
Well, I would personally have Thakur in place of Akshar Patel
Okay.
because as we have seen, Jadeja and Akshar Patel are almost similar kind of bowlers, with Jadeja having more accuracy and more experience and
Yeah.
crucial knocks for India.
Yeah.
So I would go with Ashwin and Jadeja as the two spinners, and also for a fact that there's no point in having two slow left-arm bowlers because Australia also have two or three good left-handers
Yeah.
in form Travis Head, David Warner, and also Alex
Usman
Carey.
Khwaja. Usman
Usman
Khwaja.
Khwaja, sorry, yes,
Yep.
Usman Khwaja. So they have three or four good left-handers. So having two left-arm spinners would be a bit of a risk going in, as Ashwin and Jadeja would be enough. And ideally, going in England, three pacers are a must. And Thakur,
Yeah.
because see, Umesh Yadav has been a beautiful servant for Indian cricket. He's chipped in whenever needed. Whenever there's a chance for him to play, he has played decently. But
Yeah.
Thakur purely for the fact that if you are taking Akshar Patel away, you are not only taking a bowler but also a batsman who scores batsman who scores crucial runs.
Yeah.
And we saw in the England series last time round that Thakur has made good contributions for Team India in Test cricket, both with the bat and ball. So I feel
Yeah.
that Thakur will be a good. He's not as good as a bowler as Umesh Yadav would be, but he has a knack of chipping up with wickets and breaking partnerships. And also, if we have lost some quick wickets, he can be aggressive and reliable both at the same time. So he's one of the rare cricketers that India have. But his form also hasn't been very good of late. But when you play test matches for India, especially a final like this, I think that he can come up with and perform for India. So
Yeah.
for me, in place of Akshar, I'd have Shardul Thakur.
So, those are your thoughts. What about you, Dwij? First of all, do you think do you agree with Nachiket that we need to pick three seamers and two spinners, or are you in the favor of having all three, Ashwin, Jadeja, and Akshar Patel? What are your thoughts on the team composition? Like, do you think it is wise to pick Shardul Thakur instead of Umesh Yadav, or because I know for a fact that you have been a good backer of Umesh himself. So what are your thoughts on this same?
Yes, I agree word by word what Nachiket said, and I wouldn't
Yeah.
change a thing about whatever his views were. I know I've been a massive Umesh Yadav fan, but simply taking away the fact that you cannot play three spinners in England, so you need to have that extra batting cushion, and that Shardul Thakur will provide. I mean, yes, Umesh Yadav can hit those 18, 20 runs, but you need someone more dependable in the lower middle order, and Shardul Thakur can fill that void. So yes, I also will go with three seamers in Shami, Siraj, and Shardul, and my two spinners would again be Jadeja and Ashwin. Ashwin simply because the fact that currently is the number one ranked test bowler, and you
Yeah,
know how good he has been all over the world in test matches. So
good point.
he has
Yes.
completely, he has completely shred away the, you know, people's ideology that spinners can't do well in English pitches or Australian pitches. Ashwin is truly world class. I mean, all over the world, he has grabbed wickets. And also, he has a knack of contributing runs regularly with 50s and 60s in test matches. So, I think
Yeah.
under no cases can we drop players like Ashwin. And simply because of the fact that we are not playing Akshar, I think that is also a bit harsh on him because he has been in tremendous form for in both red and white ball cricket for India since the past 1 or 2 years. But
Yeah.
I think mainly strategically thinking, I think Akshar will not get a go ahead, but Shardul Thakur will play ahead of him.
That's like we talked heavily about the Australian pace attack just like a couple of minutes ago. We talked about the Indian bowling attack as well. The thing which I personally feel is that it's a battle between the Indian pace attack and the Australian pace attack in a way. And Yash, I wanted to club these 2 points and ask you a question stating that we heavily talked about how good Hazelwood, Stark, and Cummings are for Australia, and for India we have Shami and Siraj. And based on their form, at least the short-term form in the IPL, and looking at their form in the Test series in the Border Gavaskar in the Border Gavaskar series as well, where even on spin-friendly wickets, the likes of Shami in particular was able to get important wickets. Do you think our bowling attack is as good as Australia's, if not better? At least based on
Uh,
the current form, that is.
if we take the current form, of course, like we are not better. We are not even superior. We are at par with them. I think the only difference is the absence of Bumrah being in the playing 11. Like if we
Yeah,
had him for this specific final, we could have at least matched or be superior to them. Because as you said, other bowlers like Stark and Hazelwood, they haven't been, I think, in their top form since last one or
yeah,
2 years. Even
good
like
point.
they had their ups and downs in the later stage of Gabba Trophy as well. And
Yeah,
for now, I think their main focus should be WTC, but they have a very big series Ashes ahead up as well. So they really
yeah,
need to take up their game, and this will be a challenge for them to, get back to their regular form, which was like some years ago.
yeah,
So as answering your question, we are not at par with them.
yeah.
We have our good own bowling. They are both the fast bowlers are in a very good form, and I expect them to at least match with what Australia will be giving our batters.
And,
And
and
yes,
yeah, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
and like I think this may be like this may come as a surprise, but I think we should also give Unadkat a chance. So we
You
can
okay?
play with three fast bowlers and two spinners, as earlier was mentioned by Nachiket and Dwight. But I think
Yeah.
if we go with the trio of Shami, Siraj, and Unadkat, with of course Jadeja and Ashwin, that would be also a pretty good bowling lineup for Team India. That's what I think.
So you would rather like sacrifice a bowling all-rounder in the form of Shardul Thakur for an out-and-out seamer. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yes,
All right. That's an interesting point because Umesh Yadav has been part of the Indian setup for quite some time now. And I think last he played was against Bangladesh in December. But yeah, that's an important point. And Yash, I want to stay with you on this. Let's briefly talk about the Australian team as well. Yes, they did not have the best of the series when it comes to the Border Gavaskar Trophy. And I know we have mentioned the BGT for a number of times now. But do you think these players are still world class and they're let's say the likes of David Warner and Steve Smith did not have the best of the times in India, but do you still reckon that they are the threat when it comes to the World Test Championship final, which is going to be played in a completely different scenario and conditions?
of course, like Steve Smith, one of the greats of the game, almost as far as Virat Kohli in Test cricket.
Yes.
David
Yes.
Warner, undoubtedly one of my favorite openers. Actually, I just got a news that he'll be sadly playing his last Test in 2024 against Pakistan. So
Yeah.
if these two are not like these two cannot be, no, they can be the game changers.
Yes.
Warner, like he hasn't been
You.
consistent in any of the forms, T20, ODI or Test. He had a very decent
Yeah.
IPL as well
Good point.
last year as well, but like he's something like you just cannot ignore or turn the blind side. He can be a game changer. He can get you that quick runs. He can keep the wickets, and if he gets a good decent start and a partnership with Steve Smith as well, they can put a good score in between innings. So I think Australia has a pretty strong squad as well. What happened in the Border Gavaskar Trophy, we should, just not rub it under the carpet. This is a total different country with different conditions, a different cricket in all. So I think
Yeah.
it like we might see some surprises
I like how,
be-
like, I
because
I
they
agree
have
with the.
some game
Yeah.
time.
Go ahead. Go
They
ahead.
have they
Go.
have they have some game time. They have been there practicing
Yes.
against everything they know are in and outs because of the IPL as well. So I
Yeah.
think we are in for a surprise.
I like how we are not counting out Steve Smith and David Warner, but Dwij, I wanted your opinions on who do you think, according to you, is the X factor for the Australian side? Yes, Warner and Smith are by far one of the greats of the modern Australian Test team. You still have the likes of Manas Labuschagne, who is very good in English conditions. Usman Khwaja, well, he had he had a good season in India. He scored a century in the fourth Test match. Cameron Green has been coming up as the next big superstar. So who is this one Australian player that you are going to keep an eye on during the World Test Championship final, which can trouble the Indians?
Yes, I think I have a very different answer on this one. My X factor would be Travis Head, purely because I think he is that one Australian batsman who gets going from the word go. I think he plays like he's playing a one day or T20, even in
Yes,
Test matches for
yes,
Australia. That is something which you don't see any other Australian player in the lineup doing.
yeah,
And I also think that the Australian selectors have been going after for players who have performed well in the past. I mean, they had Cameron Bancroft and Michael Nesser, who were the leading run scorer and wicket getters in their Sheffield Shield, but
yeah,
unfortunately, they didn't find a place in the 15-man squad. So I think Australians are also wary about the strength and threat that Indians have, and I think they are following a model of backing their players who have performed well against India in the past. So I think Travis Head ticks all those boxes, and I think as much as everyone here likes Cameron Green and his emergence onto the world scene, but Travis Head, has been chipping in with the runs constantly for Australia, and his performances have gone a bit under the radar. So I think he will be the one who India needs to watch out for, and I also think that he'll be a great part-time option for Australia if they need to resort to a spinner in these
yeah,
situations.
good point. That's a good point actually, because Australia, apart from Lyon and their three quicks, and let's say Cameron Green, they lack a proper sixth bowling option, and then they have to
Yeah, yeah.
resolve to the likes of Travis Head, Steve Smith, even Manas
Labuschagne.
Labuschagne. Yeah,
Yeah.
Labuschagne can bowl a bit, so that's a really good point. And Nachiket, we talked about the Australian bowling attack. We are now talking about the batting attack. Now, do you think that's there? It's going to be an issue for them that their batting order just ends abruptly after Alex Carey, because you cannot consider Pat Cummins as an out and out all rounder. So do you think the lack of depth in their batting is going to be a concern, not only in the World Test Championship final, but also in the Ashes?
Well, if you compare, let's say, the last match of the last playing 11 of the Border Gavaskar Trophy and
Yes.
what they might come up with in the World Test Championship final, I just see one change. There won't be Handscomb, so Warner would come back.
Yeah.
Travis Head or Khwaja can be shifted to the middle order. And
Yeah.
I'm just trying to find out a weakness because you see a very good top and middle order over here. You see Khwaja, Travis Head, David Warner, Manas Labuschagne, Steve Smith, Cam Green coming up with some runs. Alex Carey could come with
Yeah.
a crucial contribution of 20, 30, 40 runs.
Yes.
There, after that, you can see that Stark has just left behind his batting for the last couple of years. Even he was a good contributor with the bat.
Hmm.
Pat Cummins is someone who can chip in with 50, 60 good runs. So
Yeah.
they have enough in their team to score 4 to 500 runs if the conditions are in favor. Any pitch apart from a rank turner, Australian batting is always one to be feared along with the
Yes.
bowling unit. But as also India have played well against the top overseas countries in the recent past. I don't
Hmm.
think that it would scare them off. But of course,
Yeah.
it's tough to find a weakness in this Australian batting lineup. And I think that going ahead, they would have a bit of a problem when this current crop retires or comes to a decline. Because David Warner, as Yash mentioned, this might be his last season. Steve
Yeah.
Smith is not getting any younger. Usman Khwaja is almost has a couple of years in him. So when this current crop are not in contention, then there would be then there would be an issue. But till then, I do not think that Australians lack any depth in their batting. Even Nathan Lyon, we have seen he can stick around and hang in there with a batsman if needed.
So, so do you think, so coming to my question, which I asked, so do you don't think that uh, not a deep batting unit is not going to affect them personally because just because they have some brilliant players up the order, so that weakness
Well,
down the order is, yeah, go ahead.
I think that they bat deep anyway. Carry at 7, Cummins at 8 almost. So after
Yeah.
that also you have Nathan Lyon, Mitchell Stark who can hang in there. So I do not think that that would be an issue for them because any team you see do not bat as deep as 9, 10, 11. They are just hit or miss kind of players. Even India after Ashwin, you wouldn't see Shami can hit a couple of sixes. Siraj can hit a
Yeah.
couple of sixes, but post that you cannot expect much other than hanging around for 10 to
Yeah.
15 balls. So I do think that they bat till number 9 or 10 if they need to save the match or something like that. So I do not think that's an issue.
Yeah, I kind of agree, but then I feel like my mindset has been spoiled in a way by the fact that our batting unit, as you mentioned before, that goes down
Correct.
to Shami and Siraj, that even they can tonk a few quick fire 11, 12 of 4 or 5 deliveries and give you that edge because it's quite important in a way that the tail, sometimes when the top order, middle order, and the lower order fails, and the tail hangs in, can be an annoyance to the fast bowling, and that can help you gain the momentum going into the second innings when the opposition come out to bat. So that's the reason why I feel like our tail is a little better than Australia. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like even though both the sides technically bat till 9, 10 if you include Stark or Shami in a way, but I still feel like India have an edge when it comes to the depth in the batting unit. So
100%.
yeah, and Nachiket, let's stay with you. And can you just briefly tell us your playing 11 for India?
Okay, so based on what views I had given, this
Yes.
is how my playing 11 goes. Shubman Gill and Rohit Sharma to open,
Yeah.
Pujara at 3, followed by
Yeah.
Kohli, Rahane, Jadeja,
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Ishan Kishan, Ashwin, Shardul Thakur, Shami, and Mohammad Siraj.
Which do you make any changes or do you stick with this? Because this could be like the blueprint of every Indian team for this World Test Championship final, like whatever predictions we make. Do you see any changes here?
No, I'll also go with the same 11. I think if India does not play Akshar Patel, then this is the definite lineup that will be there.
Yeah, because apart from, let's say, the only like trouble which we had in picking one or the other was Ishan Kishan or Shrikar Bharat. So I think that's the only place which can see a bit of change here and there, but apart from them,
Yeah, as I
you pretty
said,
much, yeah,
yeah, as I said earlier, that if India is going with only two spinners, then KS Bharat has to be in that side. But if we are going in with four seamers and only a spinner in either Ashwin or Jadeja, then Ishan Kishan might have a go. So I think I'm still not 100% sure as to who among the two keepers will start, but this is my philosophy. As in, if two spinners, then definitely KS Bharat.
And what about you, Yash? I am assuming you are also not making any changes to the sides which Nachiket and Twitch picked.
No, there would be only one change. Instead of Ishan Kishan, I would go with Shikhar Dhawan.
Oh, okay.
Rest
So,
everything would be same.
yeah, so you want a proper dedicated wicket keeper who can be reliable.
Yes.
Yeah, I completely agree. And if you ask me, even I would personally go with Shikhar Bharat just because of his play. He has experience. Not that 4 matches counts as a lot of experience, but still it's something better than not having text exposure altogether. Is the sole reason why I would go with Shikhar Bharat as well. Um, I think we have covered most of the points. Now no, I just want to add one more point, and Yash, let's stay with you on this. We have a very strong batting lineup. That's the reason why all four of us are picking the same top order at least. How important is Virat Kohli? I know that in whatever format we play against whichever team we play, Virat Kohli is the name which jumps out of the scorecard, and he is the star batsman, regardless of how good Shubman Gill and Rohit Sharma are. You always look forward to Virat Kohli scoring runs. How important do you think he is going to be?
Virat Kohli is the jewel of the crown,
Yes.
which is Indian cricket team. He is the king.
Yeah.
Like when the pressure is the highest and the lights are the brightest, only kings step up. So
Wow.
this guy needs no introduction. His batting, his bat does the talking for him. He is one of not the most, but the crucial players for
Yes.
India. So I think, and he is in a very, very, very good form. On top of his form, we saw how he passed Pakistan last year, carry forward it
Yes.
to the Border Gavaskar Trophy and
Yes.
IPL as well. He had a really good season with I think 2 centuries
Yes. Too.
in the last 2 to 3 games. So
Yep.
this is his year. This is his time to shine, and I really hope we are in to witness some poetry.
Yeah. I. Which do you agree with Yash that it's Virat Kohli who has to be India's prime and best batsman if we have any chance of winning the World Test Championship final, or do you still believe in the likes of Rohit Sharma, Shubman Gill? Don't get me wrong, they are fantastic player in their own right, but do you think the pressure will once again fall onto Virat Kohli's shoulder if we need something magical to happen?
Yeah, I think pressure has always been there on Virat since, he has been the Indian captain and, has been consistently scoring the runs for India. So that pressure is nothing new for Virat, and Indian fans are such that they constantly expect him to score in every match. So
Yeah.
that isn't something new, but I don't think that uh, he'll be the sole, player who is under pressure, because I think Shubman Gill has been in the form of his life, and I think he can shoulder that pressure along with Virat Kohli, and also players like Ajinkya Rahane, Rohit Sharma, Cheteshwar Pujara, who has been there in England since the past couple of months playing county cricket. I think all of these players, are now matured enough and they are established enough in Indian cricket and in the Indian Test team that only shouldering the pressure on Virat Kohli like Sachin Tendulkar had in the 90s, that if he got
Yeah.
out, then the entire Indian team crumbled. So that is not the case right now. So I think, yes, Virat Kohli is still the best Test cricketer for me personally. Not the best Test cricketer, just the best cricketer overall in all formats. But yes, I don't think the sole pressure would be on him, and I think even he will know that he has players around him. If even if he fails for a couple of innings, then they can shoulder the pressure. So yes.
Yeah, Yash, go ahead. You have something to add here?
Just to add that whenever Virat Kohli is batting, it's the bowler who is under pressure, not him.
Yeah, that's kind of true. And Nachiket, what do you agree with? Like, obviously, we all agree with the fact what Yash and Dvij said that Virat Kohli is the star batsman. Do you think, but do you still think it's wise to rely on just one player all the time? Yes, 9 times out of 10, he has lived up to Indians' expectations. So there is no denying the fact that he cannot live up to our expectations once again. But do you think it's the time for others to step up as well?
Well, I think others have been stepping up since the past
Yes.
couple of years or 3 years, as it was absolutely the case where Virat Kohli carried this Indian batting team for at least 8 to 10 years
Yeah.
and single-handedly chased down totals time and time again, single-handedly scored daddy hundreds in all formats of the game. And
Yes.
unfortunately, he had been out of touch for 2 or 3 seasons, but even then, India hasn't crumbled in any situations. We have gone on and won overseas. We have also performed well in ODIs and T20s. And of
Hmm.
course, whenever Virat Kohli comes out to bat, he has the nation's expectations on his shoulders. But I feel that it's also a time to for other players to prove their point, especially for someone like Rohit Sharma to stand up as a captain in this format particularly. He has scored good
Yeah.
runs, he has scored centuries, but he needs a big contribution from his side. And I just hope that he doesn't have another average match over here as a batsman.
Yeah.
Shubman Gill has been in lightning form since the past 6 months. He has been scoring double hundreds in ODIs. He has been scoring hundreds in IPL, hundreds for India as well. So he's another one who we need to, India needs him going well in every inning because
Yeah.
let's say both of them get out and you have Hazelwood, Stark, and Cummins firing in at 145 clicks an hour. All of a
Yeah.
sudden, India are 10 for 2 and Kohli and Pujara at the crease. So, starting from Gill and Rohit, everyone needs to play their roles perfectly, build a good partnership, and then the lower order can finish it off. But of course, the expectations with Virat Kohli will be high. As we have seen, he's been in good touch in the last 6 months. So
Yeah.
he has been the man who has always stepped up for India in ICC tournaments. Unfortunately, we haven't won, but he has stepped in crucial situations like against Pakistan also. So
Yeah.
I feel that it's a good performance coming in from Team India in this match.
And I think let's be honest, we have covered all the points, and now is the time to put you guys on the line and ask you for your predictions. As well, I'll just go first, and I think we'll all agree that India is like we'll all pick India to win because it's once again our team. But I want your predictions, like who is going to win. I'm sure it's going to be India, but I also want one player who will stand out and be your personal, like your predicted man of the match. I'll personally go with Ravindra Jadeja because sheerly because of the momentum he's going to carry into this World Test Championship final. He played a match-winning knock in the IPL final. He has been crucial with the bat and the ball even before the IPL started. He played a crucial role in the Border Gavaskar series as well. So solely based on how well he's been for the last 6 months, I'll personally pick Ravindra Jadeja as my player of the match and India to win. Let's start with Yash. Prediction.
For India, of course, I'll go this one with you. Ravindra
Yeah.
Jadeja for me.
Oh, same. What about you, Dwij?
I think the trophy will be shared. The match will be a draw, and
Oh, nice.
the man of the match would be Mohammad Siraj.
Nachiket?
Yes, if Ravindra Jadeja is the man of the match in England, there's obviously been a top order collapse. So I
Oh,
would rather, I would rather pick Shubman Gill or Virat Kohli as my man of the match. And if I were to choose anyone, I would choose Virat Kohli, as we
yeah.
need to see him thriving in this situation again, score a big 100. And my prediction stands that India will clinch the WTC title at their second attempt.
Wonderful, wonderful. I think we are all done, and let's just wrap things up. Once again, thank you guys for taking out your time and being on this podcast. I know it's been longer than we wanted it to be, but once we get into some healthy conversations, it's really difficult to, cut out things which we have discussed because let's be honest, whatever we have talked about for the last hour or so has been really good. So once again, appreciate you guys coming in here.
Yeah, it's been lovely, discussing Indian cricket after 2 months of IPL. So that is
Yeah,
very extremely refreshing. I'm looking forward to the final.
yeah, it's going to be a great outing. So once again, any parting thoughts from Yash?
Yeah, thank you so much for the invite, and like I hope we can get together on the podcast more
Yeah, yeah.
frequently during
Mo-
other series as well to put out
Yeah,
our thoughts.
definitely, definitely. This has been such a healthy conversation that I am really looking forward to having you guys once again. And Nachiket, what about you?
Yes, first of all, Vatsal, thanks a lot for inviting us over. And
No
this
worries.
is a topic I guess we can go on for another hour, but
Yeah,
this is enough for right now. And you have been doing a great job during the IPL too, and we hope to hear a lot of your podcast in the coming series, the coming Ashes too. So good luck with that.
thanks a lot. And yeah, as Nachiket mentioned, the Cricket Corner podcast will be quite regular when it comes to the Ashes. And so, for the time being, this is the World Test Championship preview, and we are hoping for an excellent encounter from next week. Make sure you are liking, sharing, and subscribing on YouTube. If you're listening this on Spotify, then make sure you're giving me those wonderful 5-star ratings. This is me, Vatsal Vora, along with Nachiket, Dwij, and Yash, signing off. Ciao for now.